No, go ahead. Go on and say this title is clickbaity. I dare you. I dare you. Yes, readers, I've seen the trailers to Brightburn. Yes, readers, I'm super psyched for Brightburn. Yes, readers, I too am wondering why Sony hasn't gotten hit with a big ol' cease and desist letter from either Warner Brothers or DC Comics for Brightburn. In case you didn't know, Sony Pictures released a trailer back in December for a superhero horror movie called Brightburn. It stars Elizabeth Banks, in which her character and her husband find a baby boy in a device after crash landing and raise him as their own, only to discover as he grew up that he had a very wide range of powers and that he could use them to enact some personal justice on those who were doing him wrong. And when the trailer for this dropped, a lot of people who were hyped for the film and a lot of people who weren't pretty much went, "This is an evil Superman movie." And before, wasn't that Man of Steel? Congratulations, you had your one clever thought for the day. All I hope is that you're still coherent enough to remember to, breathe and take a shit after using all that brain power. Like I said earlier, there are a lot of similarities to the origin and power set between modern-day Superman and the antagonists of Brightburn. And while Warner Brothers and DC Comics still have all their licensing rights and trademarks for a lot of the symbolism we established with the character today, such as the S-Shield and the art design commonly associated with the name, Superman the character isn't due to be released in the public domain for everyone to freely use for another 10 or so years. And even then, it'll be the Golden Age version of the character without the flight or the heat vision that the antagonist of Brightburn shares with the modern day version. So then the question remains, how come Warner Brothers or DC Comics haven't done anything about it yet? Well, in order to figure that out, we have to talk about the one time DC actually did. Shazam, I'm talking about Shazam. You see, before DC Comics bought, at the time, Captain Marvel and his associated characters back in 1994, DC sued Fawcett Comics, the comic company that originally published the Golden Age Shazam stories back in 1941. DC initially won that lawsuit mostly because of testimonials saying that they were instructed to read Superman stories and copy certain elements from them, along with telling artists to make costumes, background art, and styles similar to that of DC's Superman books. My buddy Scott over on NerdSync did a video on this case a few years ago, including the time Fawcett almost got away with the lawsuit because Superman was unintentionally made a public domain figure at the time. You can click the link in the upper right hand corner if you want to check it out. Now this lawsuit happened before Warner Brothers bought DC Comics, who more recently handled a messy dispute regarding the rights to Superman and Young Superman Superboy lawsuits with the families of his creators Jerome Siegel and Joseph Schuster. And don't even get me started on Smallville. I say all of this to say that despite how everything worked out in DC's favor regarding the Superman Shazam lawsuit in the 40s, and taking into consideration the families of the creators making a deal with Warner Brothers so that they can still use the character nowadays, the WB kinda has a good idea how difficult it would be to claim copyright violations in this point in the game, unless there's someone on the other side with inside knowledge that what Brightburn was doing is actually a legit ripoff. Because if that was the case, then they would have went after Akira Toriyama's ass for Goku years ago. Plus, we have to consider the following. 1. The producer of the movie is James Gunn, who is now writing and directing the soft reboot to DC Films and Warner Brothers' Suicide Squad. So until something official comes out, assuming that the two reached an agreement regarding Sony releasing this isn't that big of a far-fetched idea. 2. Warner Brothers and DC allowing this movie to exist could actually be a good thing for them, giving them free publicity and a revitalized interest in Superman. And 3. Given all the hot water Disney is currently in regarding the firing of James Gunn and what they personally went through with the Siegel and Schuster estates, them suing Sony for this could potentially be a PR nightmare. So yes, readers, there are plenty of possibilities as to why DC and Warner Brothers haven't done anything about keeping Brightburn from being a thing. Despite nothing, including the ones that I listed, being verified so far. And between me and you readers, let's just be real right quick. Unless it becomes a scandal or some shit, I highly doubt that any of this is going to become public knowledge. Now, part of me wants to believe that it's because they know it could be good publicity for Superman later on down the line. Mostly because it falls under my stance on, don't punish people for wanting to do shit just because you're insecure enough to think that they'll be able to do said shit better than you. Which is why I'm an advocate for this film in the first place. Now, I'm not saying that Brightburn is getting in the game for the purpose of showing Warner Brothers and DC that Sony can make a better Superman movie than they can. They already did that with Megamind. Well, not Sony, DreamWorks, but you understand the reference. All I'm saying is that if the reason why they're not legally pursuing Brightburn's destruction is because they don't feel it's necessary, if there is no evidence whatsoever that Brightburn is violating any copyright laws and Warner Brothers isn't suing them because they legit have the confidence to know that what Sony's doing won't impact them negatively, then they kinda earned a +5 respect from me. And regardless of if it is the true reason or not, that should still be a good principle for us to follow when it comes to whatever it is that we're doing. Unless Rodney down the street is legit copying you and his plagiarism is keeping you from handling your business, don't sweat the small stuff and carry on with your day. If anything, the antics of Rodney is only going to help you out later down the line. But knowing my luck is probably because they just went, fuck it, let them do the movie, we're tired of dealing with this legal Superman shit. I mean, I get it, but the first reason is so much more impressive. But I digress, readers. Your homework assignment for the day. Write in the comment section below what you think of the trailers that have been released for Sony's Brightburn, or whether or not you believe Warner Brothers and DC should actually pursue a lawsuit. Either way, I'd love to know your thoughts. If you want to help financially support the channel, you can join my Patreon by clicking the card at the end of the video or in the link in the description down below, where you can also find a link to my merchandise store. Or if you prefer to give a one-time donation, you can find the links to my PayPal and my Ko-fi account in the description box as well. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, because I post new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and every other Friday. But until then, this is Readus 101. Class dismissed.